You could be shortening your life every day without even realizing it. Foods that seem harmless and that may be part of your routine could be slowly destroying your health, accelerating aging and increasing the risk of serious diseases such as diabetes, Alzheimer's and heart problems. And the worst part, many of these foods are sold as healthy, but in reality they are sabotaging your body without you realizing it. In today's video, we will reveal 7 foods that are ruining your longevity. The last one on the list will surprise you because you have probably been eating it since childhood, believing it is good for you. If you want to live longer and better, like and subscribe to the channel because this information can literally save your life. Let's go straight to the first food. Refined sugar, the silent enemy of longevity. If there's one food that sabotages your health without you even realizing it, it's refined sugar. It's hidden in practically everything. Breads, breakfast cereals, yogurts, processed juices, sauces, and even salty foods that, at first glance, don't seem to contain sugar. And the problem isn't just weight gain. Sugar fuels chronic inflammation, accelerates aging, and overloads your metabolism, dramatically increasing the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and Alzheimer's. When you consume refined sugar, it causes spikes in blood glucose, forcing the pancreas to release large amounts of insulin. Over time, this overload can lead to insulin resistance, one of the biggest risk factors for type 2 diabetes and obesity. But the impact doesn't stop there. Excess glucose also accelerates a process called glycation, which damages the body's proteins, resulting in premature aging, wrinkles, sagging, and even joint problems. The worst part is that sugar is addictive. Have you ever felt that uncontrollable urge to eat something sweet after lunch? This happens because sugar activates the same dopamine brain circuits involved in drug addiction, creating a chemical dependency that makes you want more and more. The food industry knows this and uses this strategy to make products highly palatable and addictive. Now, the good news is that it is possible to reduce the impacts of sugar on your health without giving up flavor. The first tip is to replace sweetened beverages with more natural alternatives, such as water with lemon, unsweetened tea, or coconut water. It is also worth swapping processed sweets for fruits with a low glycemic index, such as strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries, which, in addition to providing a natural sweet flavor, also contain powerful antioxidants to combat aging. But refined sugar is not the only villain hidden in your diet. There is another ingredient that is present in most kitchens and that may be silently sabotaging your health. Processed vegetable oils, poison disguised as healthy. When sugar overloads your metabolism and inflames your body, processed vegetable oils step in to make things even worse. These oils, such as soybean, corn, canola, and sunflower, are widely used in the food industry and sold as light and healthy options. But the truth is that they are highly inflammatory and can accelerate cellular aging, in addition to being linked to the development of chronic diseases such as Alzheimer's and cardiovascular problems. The big problem with these oils is their imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3. Our body needs both types of fat, but the excess omega-6 present in vegetable oils creates an environment conducive to chronic inflammation. This type of inflammation is behind degenerative diseases, joint pain, and even neurological problems. Another concern is that these oils are highly unstable when heated, releasing toxic compounds called aldehydes and acrolein, which cause oxidative damage to cells. This means that every time you fry food in vegetable oil, your body is exposed to substances that promote premature aging and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. To avoid this problem, the best alternative is to replace refined oils with more stable and beneficial natural fats, such as extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, and ghee butter. In addition, when cooking, it is always better to opt for healthier methods, such as baking, grilling, or steaming. But choosing the right fats is not enough, because there is another common ingredient in everyday life that can also be silently sabotaging your longevity. It is present in breads, pastas, and even products that seem harmless. White flour and refined carbohydrates, the powerful villain of longevity. Just like vegetable oils, refined carbohydrates, such as white flour, play a central role in accelerating aging and the development of chronic diseases. They are found in breads, pastas, cookies, cakes, and even in foods that we consider convenient in our daily lives. Although they seem like a quick and simple option, these carbohydrates cause spikes in blood glucose, which in the long term leads to a series of serious health problems. Excessive consumption of white flour and refined carbohydrates is directly linked to insulin resistance, which is one of the initial conditions of type 2 diabetes. When you consume these foods, your blood sugar rises quickly, and your body releases insulin to control this spike. However, over time, the pancreas becomes overwhelmed, which results in a loss of insulin sensitivity, contributing to metabolic diseases. Additionally, white flour and refined carbohydrates offer no real nutritional value, such as fiber and vitamins, and are quickly digested, leaving you hungry again in no time. This constant cycle of hunger and consumption ends up creating an environment where belly fat accumulates, increasing the risk of heart disease and other health conditions that affect longevity. The good news is that you can make a simple and effective change. Swapping refined flour for whole grains, such as oats, quinoa, and brown rice, in addition to eating foods rich in fiber, will stabilize your blood glucose levels while also providing the nutrients your body needs. In this way, you will be nourishing your long-term health and contributing to longevity. But while these refined carbohydrates work against your health, there is another highly processed food that also acts as a silent enemy. It is present in almost every ready-made product you buy at the supermarket and can be responsible for a number of problems. Processed foods with preservatives, the cost of instant pleasure. Have you ever noticed how many processed foods full of preservatives we find on supermarket shelves? From quick snacks to frozen meals, many of these foods are loaded with sodium, sugars, and trans fats, ingredients that are responsible for gradually destroying your health and harming your longevity. These ingredients are not only toxic to the body, but they also overload the liver, one of the main organs responsible for detoxifying the body. Excessive consumption of ultra-processed foods is linked to a series of problems, such as increased risk of cancer, heart disease, and neurodegenerative diseases. They may even seem convenient when you are in a rush. But in the long run, this convenience comes with a high cost: accelerated cell aging. Studies have shown that the chemicals in preservatives and artificial colors can affect the hormonal system, altering the way the body functions, and, in many cases, contributing to weight gain, insulin resistance, and even infertility. In addition, the excess sodium in these foods can raise blood pressure, which increases the risk of stroke and heart problems. The good news is that, with a little planning, it is entirely possible to replace processed foods with natural, fresh options. By preparing your own meals, you can have complete control over the ingredients, avoiding the intake of harmful substances. Choosing fresh, organic, and minimally processed foods will not only improve your overall health, but will also greatly boost your longevity. While you are taking control of your diet and avoiding processed foods, there is one food widely consumed by many people that, although it may seem healthy at first glance, can have a devastating impact on your health. Fried foods. The hidden danger in the crunchy taste. Have you ever noticed that fried foods, such as French fries and breaded chicken, are present in many everyday meals? They are irresistible, but the impact they can have on your body goes beyond what you imagine. Frying foods in oil at high temperatures creates a series of inflammatory compounds known as free radicals, which damage cells and accelerate the aging process. Not to mention that this type of food is also associated with a significant increase in the risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even cancer. The big problem here is the use of refined vegetable oils, such as soybean, corn, and canola, which, when heated, release toxic byproducts that can compromise cellular function. In addition, fried foods have a high glycemic index, which means they cause blood glucose levels to skyrocket, which leads to insulin resistance and an increased risk of chronic diseases. These foods also contain a large amount of trans fats, which are the worst for your health, as they not only increase bad cholesterol, LDL, but also decrease good cholesterol, HDL. The result is a higher risk of heart attack and other heart problems. The solution is not difficult. If you love that crunchy flavor, choose baked, grilled, or boiled foods. Using healthier cooking methods helps maintain the flavor, but without the inflammatory damage caused by frying. In addition, choose healthier oils, such as olive oil, which is much more stable when heated, preserving its nutritional properties. With fried foods, the risk of chronic inflammation becomes clear, and it is necessary to understand how this inflammation can spread to other areas of the body. The transition here is simple because the next silent enemy, which also acts in the inflammatory process, is in something that many people consume daily and do not even imagine the impact it has. Milk, the silent enemy of longevity. Although milk is widely consumed and often promoted as a source of calcium and vitamins, it is a food that may be harming your health and, consequently, your longevity. The main issue here is that milk, especially cow's milk, contains hormones and proteins that, in excess, can cause inflammation in the body and even contribute to autoimmune diseases. Lactose, the main sugar present in milk, can also be difficult for many people to digest, leading to symptoms of bloating, gas, and intestinal discomfort. In addition, constant intake of milk can lead to an increase in insulin levels in the blood, which can promote weight gain and contribute to the development of type 2 diabetes. But the problem doesn't stop there. Milk contains a protein called casein, which, when ingested in large quantities, can generate inflammatory responses in the body. These inflammatory processes are directly linked to cardiovascular diseases, cancers, and bone problems. Although milk is often seen as a key beverage for bone health due to its calcium content, studies show that drinking too much milk is not as protective as you might think, and may even be counterproductive to long-term bone health. Alternatively, you can opt for plant-based milks, such as almond, oat, or coconut milks, which are rich in nutrients and do not carry the same risks associated with cow's milk. In addition to being easier to digest, these milks contain less saturated fat and can be a healthier choice for your longevity. What's more, many of these milks are fortified with calcium, offering an excellent option for maintaining bone health without the risks of animal milk. As we discuss these 6 foods, fried foods, refined sugars, dairy, and more, it becomes clear that while they may seem harmless or even normal in our diets, they have a profound and negative impact on our health and longevity. What we need to understand is that our diet is not just a matter of momentary pleasure, but a vital decision for our future. Each of these foods contributes in its own unique way to chronic inflammation, a leading cause of degenerative diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, and joint problems. But fortunately, the power of choice is in our hands. Choosing natural, less processed, and more nutritious foods can reverse much of this damage and promote a longer, healthier life. Understanding that longevity is not a coincidence, but a series of daily choices we make is crucial. Replacing inflammatory foods with healthier options is a fundamental step toward ensuring a full and healthy life. Small changes, such as avoiding fried foods, cutting out refined sugar, and choosing alternatives to cow's milk, can have a surprising impact on your overall well-being. So if you want to live longer and better, the time to act is now. Take care of your diet, choose the right foods, and over time, you will see the results in your health and quality of life. Don't wait for your longevity to be destroyed by habits that you can easily change.